Hello, I'm Matthew McKibbin. Welcome to Bedtime Stories. Thank you for enjoying my previous bedtime story video. Appreciate all of you guys' support and hope it helped you have good night's sleep as usual. So today I'm back with another bedtime story video, and I'm gonna read to you, and I said this usually, more stories of Thomas the Tank Engine. And we're going to start off with Thomas Goes on Safari. This is the story about Thomas, the brave blue engine, and the day he went on an adventure far from home. Thomas was getting ready for a busy day on Sodor when Sir Topham had arrived with some news. Thomas, I have a very special job for you this week. You are going to travel to Africa to work with Nia on the Kenyan Railway. She has gone on ahead, so you will meet her there. How exciting, Thomas said. Thomas puffed through Sodor and on to the docks. There, Dilly the barge was waiting to transport him across the ocean. After a long journey, Thomas arrived on the continent of Africa and headed to Kenya. Thomas was happy to have arrived at last. Hello, Thomas, Nia shouted as Thomas pulled up. We are going on a practice run before taking passengers on safari. Hopefully, we will see some lions and elephants in their natural habitat. Thomas knew he should be excited, but he was worried. Weren't elephants really big? Don't lions have sharp, scary teeth? Don't be scared, Thomas, Nia said. We'll start with gentle drafts. Thomas and Nia rolled quietly along the track through the Kenyan Animal Reserve until they spotted a group of giraffes eating leaves. Thomas stared up in wonder at the tallest creatures he'd ever seen. Giraffes can grow to 19 feet tall, Nia explained. That's taller than a double-decker bus. Thomas and Nia rolled on, visiting the animals on the reserve. Thomas couldn't believe it when Nia told him zebras could run up to 40 miles per hour, faster than Birdie the bus. Did you know elephants can drink over 52 gallons of water per day? Nia said. That's almost as much as a swimming pool. Nia warned Thomas that visitors should not get too close to the rhinos. Thomas was amazed by all the different animals, but he was still worried about the roaring lions and big elephants. Just then, a giant hippo appeared out of the river with a splash. Thomas was scared. He thought the hippo was coming after him. He peeped his whistle and sped away up the track. Nia chugged after Thomas. She tried to tell him that the hippo wasn't chasing him, but it was too late. Thomas rolled so fast up the track that he didn't see the trouble ahead. There had been a landslide, and now Thomas was stuck in the mud. Why did you go so fast, Thomas? Nia asked when she arrived. Not to worry, I'll go and get the tower rope to pull you out. Sorry, Nia. I was scared I went too fast. Thomas was embarrassed. But instead of digging Thomas out, Nia's crew started putting more mud on him. On hot days, hippos coat themselves in mud, Nia explained. This will keep you cool while I get home. When Nia returned to Thomas out of the mud, he was dirtier than he had ever been. I stayed nice and cool thanks to your idea with the mud, Thomas said. Those hippos are smart. Nia pulled him free and took him to be washed, down by a friendly elephant. Thomas was no longer scared of this giant, but gentle creature. Nia took Thomas back to the river to show him a family of hippos. He realized that they weren't scary at all. Scary either. As long as you didn't get too close. There is a lot we can learn from the animals if we pay attention, said Nia. After their practice run, Nia and Thomas took lots of passengers on safari. Everyone had a great time, and Thomas even conquered his fear of lions. The engines were ready to head home. I've learned more about the animals, and I hope to come again soon, Thomas said. He peeped goodbye to Kenya. Thomas and Nia arrived back on Sodor, excited to see all their friends. As Thomas puffed back to timid sheds, ready to have a long nap, he saw the sheep and cows in the fields. I can have a safari right here in Sodor, Thomas laughed. It's fun visiting new places, but it's good to be home. Thomas helped Hero. When Hero had an accident that was Thomas's fault, he had to help his friend. He tried to find some spare parts for Hero, but ended up wheel deep in trouble. One day, Thomas was in the yard when Hero pulled up next to him. Hello, Hero. You look shiny. Where are you off to? I'm going to Kepford, Thomas said excitedly. Let's go together, Hero said, laughing. Hero hurried away with Thomas racing behind. Thomas had to go very fast to keep up. Hero soon slowed for a sharp bend, but Thomas pumped his pistons even faster. Watch me go, Thomas teased, racing ahead. As Thomas rocked around the bend, his cargo came loose and rolled onto the track. Hero hit the pipes and crashed to a stop on his side. Thomas felt terrible. Rocky and Edward were called to help Hero. A very upset Sir Topham had arrived too. Hero was soon back on track, but when he tried to set off his axles arched, his gears groaned. You'll need to go to the steamworks for repair, said Sir Topham Hatt. That night, Thomas was still feeling sad. It's my fault Hero's broken, he told Percy, and it's not easy to get the parts he needs. Thomas remembered the last time Hero had broken down. He was stuck in the woods for a very long time. Then Thomas had an idea. The next morning, Thomas puffed to where he had first met Hero a long time ago. If I can find some of Hero's old parts, then Hero could be fixed, thought Thomas. Branches snapped and brambles scratched as Thomas searched bravely for spare parts, but he didn't find any. Thomas rolled deeper into the dark and spooky woods, his wheels wobbling. Suddenly, a deer jumped across the track, giving Thomas a fright. He screeched to a stop, but the old rails gave way beneath him. Silly me, said Thomas. It's just a friendly deer. When Thomas tried to move, his wheels just spun in the mud. He was well and truly stuck. Beep, beep, he whistled. Help! Percy was on a nearby branch line, but he didn't hear Thomas calling. Can anyone hear me? Thomas cried sadly. Later, Harold flew by on patrol. Thomas whistled as loudly as he could. Beep, beep! That looks like steam from an engine, Harold buzzed. And that sounds like Thomas. Harold hurried away to get help, but Thomas thought he hadn't seen him. No one can hear me, Thomas cried. Then suddenly the rails began to rumble. Rocky bashed through the grapples with Percy behind. Thomas, boomed Sir Topham Hatt. How did you end up here? I was trying to help Hero, sir, Thomas sighed. Well, let's get you back on track, he said kindly. Later at the steamworks, Thomas told Hero all about his adventure. I'm sorry I didn't find any spare parts to fix you, he sighed. But Thomas, I am fixed, Hero smiled. Sir Topham Hatt already had some parts for me, in case I ever broke down again. Thomas beamed from buffer to bunker. Hero smiled too. So are you ready? He said. Ready, Thomas called. The two friends set off together, and this time Thomas remembered to slow down for the bend. Happy birthday, Thomas! This is a story about Thomas, the silly blue engine, and the day his friends threw a very special party. It had been a very busy day on Sodor when Thomas puffed into the station at Maron. "I'm sorry, Thomas, but you're not finished yet," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I need you to pick up Annie and Clarabelle and get some trucks to the quarry." "I'll be as quick as I can," called Thomas as he pulled away. Thomas worked really hard. He pulled Annie and Clarabelle from one side of the island to the other, pulled trucks to the quarry, and hooked onto Annie and Clarabelle again to take them home. When Thomas returned to the sheds, he was so tired to talk to his friends and went straight to sleep. The other trains were worried. "Thomas has been working so hard," said James, "and it's his birthday soon. We should do something nice for him." Jim Gordon. "I've got an idea!" exclaimed Percy. The next day, everyone gathered in the yard to talk about the big plan. "I can't wait to see Thomas's face," tooted Bertie. "Don't forget that it's a surprise, Bertie," warned Emily. "You can't tell Thomas." "I won't," said Bertie. He couldn't wait for his part in Thomas's big surprise, but he was worried he might give the secret away. Later that day, Thomas was just about to pull away from Catford Station when he noticed Bertie arriving. "Hello, Bertie," called Thomas. "Oh, can't stop," said Bertie sheepishly as he shot off down the road. "Bertie must want me to race him," exclaimed Thomas as he sped away after him. Bertie was worried that he would give away the surprise, so he drove away as fast as he could. But Thomas's wheels were turning faster and faster and faster. Thomas was close to catching up when Bertie turned off the road beside the track and zoomed off away from Thomas. Thomas didn't know what to do. Normally, Bertie loved to race with him. Maybe Bertie doesn't want to be friends with me anymore. That night, Thomas puffed very slowly and very sadly back to the sheds. In the morning, Sir Topham had to ask Thomas to come all the way to the steamworks to meet him. "Go faster, we're late," grumbled Annie and Clarabelle. Must hurry, puffed Thomas. He was feeling very tired after his busy week. "There you are, Thomas," said Sir Topham Hatt. When Thomas arrived at the steamworks, we need to smarten you up." And so his dome was polished. He was given a nice new coat of paint. His buffers were buffed, and he was given brand new shiny wheels. "Now you're ready," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Ready for what?" asked Thomas. "Oh, I wonder what it could be." "Happy birthday, Thomas!" cheered Sir Topham Hatt as they pulled up to the party. "Surprise!" shouted Bertie from the platform. "I'm sorry I didn't race with you the other day, Thomas, but I didn't want you to know about your surprise birthday party." It was a wonderful party. All of Thomas's friends wished him a very happy birthday and even sang to him. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. That was a good party, said James that night. Did you have fun, Thomas? Asked Bertie. But Thomas didn't reply. He had already fallen asleep, thinking how lucky he was to have such good friends. Well, what you think of that? I think my favorite part was that all the engines gathered around to plan a surprise party for Thomas's birthday. You know, there are actually good things about having a surprise party for someone you love or care for. It makes things really fun. So, yeah, I think that's my favorite part from the stories that I read to you today. So, thank you for tuning in to today's bedtime story. And for what Shelley Duvall said, when you write stories, you can make believe anything. And when you dream, you can make believe anything too. So, hope you all have sweet dreams and hope to see you next time.